Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Miss Poquette. I am a third year first grade teacher, and I have some exciting things to share with you today. I have been talking about Daily 5 in a lot of my YouTube videos and TikTok videos and on Instagram, and the feedback I'm getting is that a lot of people either do Daily 5, they use it, but they need help structuring it, or they don't use it and they want to learn more because they're thinking about doing it next year. So I'm trying to focus on Daily 5 and showing you how I do it in my classroom. We've talked about the structure and what my other students are basically doing while I'm at teacher time, but I really haven't done a video that emphasizes and focuses on what I'm doing over here at the teacher table. I feel like a lot of teachers think that, a guided reading group is you come down, you read a book together, you go. And that's just not the case. It might be for some teachers, or maybe if you have higher students, but for those lower kiddos, they need lots of different activities and things to do that are hands-on and fun and engaging to, one, get them to like reading and get them to like coming to the teacher table, and two, to really have it stick with them. So I'm going to review some of my favorite small group activities to do at the teacher table that aren't just guided reading, but more so warm-up activities or exit activities that help my students with sight words, with decoding, with foundation skills, all the above. So let's get started. All right, I would just also like to specify that these activities that I am showing are differentiated because each group does not get this. It's something that, based off a group's needs and the skills that those students need to be working on, I will do different things for different groups. I think all teachers are aware of that, but I just wanted to say it because, for example, this first one I'm going to talk about is letter formation. Not all of my students need to work on letter formation this year, but I have a couple groups that do. So this is a activity that I do as a warm-up at my Daily 5 group, or my guided reading group, whatever you want to call it, that works on letter formation. The first thing I did was made these handy little cards that have the lowercase letters on them so that they can see the foundation's lines while they're practicing writing. And most days we're using just our foundation's whiteboards while we're doing this, but other days, once I feel like they have a good sense of the lines and how to write them, we will use what's called, this is at least what I call them, gel boards. They are from Wilson. I love them. I have not a full class set, but I have, I think, 6, so enough for each small group. And they come with these pens, so you can write with them. It's kind of like those little etch-a-sketch things. But anyway, and then the back of it just gets erased with the pen. So the students love to use these. Little teacher tip, don't teach them that you can write through the back, because then they're gonna try and do it backwards, and that is not helpful. I made that mistake a couple of years ago. I was like, look what it can do, guys, and then now that year all they wanted to do was write through the back. You don't have to just use gel boards for letter formation though. If you want to practice writing words, sight words, CVC words, words with diagraphs, whatever skill you're working on, you can for sure incorporate gel boards into that lesson. So this is a great activity to use at your small group. The next activity I've been utilizing this year for small groups is using poppets. I've never used these in the past, so I'm still learning as I go. And I think there's been a lot of buzz about this on social media, so this is probably not news to you. But I've been having students practice popping words with their poppets. And the structure of it is I say a word, they repeat it. So we say it, we tap it out, we pop it, and then we write it. So it's kind of like 4 steps. It's not just like me saying a word and they're popping and going off the rails. There is a sort of clear pattern and order to what we're doing. So if I say the word mop, they repeat it, we tap it, mop, and then we tap it. I say, get your tappers ready, mop. How many sounds? They can see that 3 went down, 3 sounds, write your 3 letters, and then they write it on the whiteboards. I have students using square ones so that they can go row by row. I suggest that if you're starting a new word that they don't just go in that same row, but they move down to the next one, because if they continue where they already popped that last word, it is going to be confusing. They won't know how many sounds they popped. And I also wouldn't suggest, like, every time you do a new word to unpop it, just keep going down the rows. And then it's fun because once we get to the end, I'm like, all right, flip it over and pop them all back up. So it's kind of like a little reward. So it's like a reward.
It's like a reward.
So I use poppers. I have on my classroom Amazon wish list right now the keyboard that has the letters so you can practice popping words. That's not just really for sounds though, that's actually like looking at the letters. So I have that on my Amazon wish list that I hope to get soon for my small group area. I also have poppets that I use for math. Oh, hold on. Sorry, somebody came into my room, so I didn't get to finish the poppet part. But anyway, my point was that these are really great for popping out sounds, but you can also use them in a lot of different ways. Right now, this is the only way I'm utilizing it in my classroom. However, I want to learn more from other teachers, and I do that every day. And so I'm excited to get some different types of poppets. Another really simple thing that you can do for warm-ups is use Play-doh. There's a couple ways that you can use Play-doh and a couple ways that I've used Play-doh. First of all, I just use these teeny tiny ones. I don't use the big full-size ones because each kid's going to get one. I can't even get this out now. There we go. So they don't need more than this. So use the little ones for the teacher groups. Some teachers I find like to make the little balls for the sounds, and then when they pop the sound or when they tap out the sound, instead of popping it, you can smash the sound. So that's a kind of tactile, sensory way to do sounds again, is have them make like 3 or 4 balls, put them in a line and say, all right, we're gonna tap out the word trash, ash, and they can smash it every time, make the new ball. It's kind of time consuming though, and obviously just do what you have time for. But that's a good sensory way to practice tapping out words. You can also do that with syllables, like, all right, we want to hear the syllables, carpet. So you can work with syllables, not just sounds. These activities that I'm describing, the way I'm describing them is like about sounds, tapping out sounds, and like CVC words and stuff, or letter formation. That's just because that's what I work on with my students at the beginning of the year in first grade. Obviously, when we get to things like digraphs or get to things like 2-syllable words, I adjust and accommodate these activities to meet those skills needs. Another thing you can do with Play-doh is you can practice building letters with Play-doh. So if we were practicing the letter B, I would show them how to do it with my Play-doh, and then I would have them do it with their Play-doh. This is like a super, that's terrible, super early on skill or activity to do at the beginning of the year. However, it's good for maybe kindergarten or even preschool. Not everybody watching this is first grade, so you can adapt these activities and materials to however they would meet your students' needs. Something else that you can do with your students, these are foam dice with whiteboard sides. And what you can do is, these are great because you can use them and write anything you want on them because they're whiteboard. So if we are practicing nonsense words and real words, what I would do is I think I have 4 of these. I would write different consonants on 2 of them and vowels on this one. And here's a little trick. You can use dry erase on these, obviously, because they're dry erase ones. But if you're worried about them not coming or getting wiped off while the kids are using them, you can actually use permanent marker. And then to get rid of it later, just go over it with Sharpie. Expo. So I would have students roll the dice, and let's say it lands on ZIP. I would have them blend that word together, zip, and I'd ask them, is that a real word or a nonsense word? And they would say it's a real word. Now I could have them then roll a CAG, CAG, and I would have them read that, or GAC if they're reading it the other way. Say, is that a real word or a nonsense word? And they would say it's a nonsense word. They can do this with you at the teacher table. You could also teach this at the teacher table. Hello. I could probably talk about ways to use the dice all day. They're just so easy to differentiate. You could have letters of the alphabet on these, and you could roll it and say, all right, tell me the sound that that letter makes. Or you could roll lowercase letters and have students write the uppercase letter to match, or vice versa. There are so many ways you can use these. Highly recommend. I think they sell them at the Dollar Tree, but I also have these on my Amazon storefront. I got mine off of Amazon. Let's see here. We've got magnet letters. Oh my gosh, love magnet letters. First of all, I can use them over here on my board, and then students can use them either on their whiteboards, or I bought these cute little trays from Amazon, I'm pretty sure, and they stick to the trays as well. I only have 2, right? 2. So I would only use these for 2 students at a time, to be fair, but the trays are from Amazon and my magnet letters are from Amazon. This is, again, just another sensory way to have students building words, or I could say the sound D, and I want them to find the letter and put it on their baking tray. couple more. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but there's just so many good things you can do at the teacher table. Another good one is using keyboards. So earlier in the video, I talked about poppets and how they make like poppet keyboards now, which is awesome. You can use real keyboards. I got this from Savers. Or you can use little printed out ones. I have both options, and you can have students practice spelling words with these, or just practice, again, finding, like, these are obviously all capital letters, so you could say, like, I could show the lowercase letter and be like, find the uppercase letter for that. I don't have an example of an activity right now, but we just did one a couple days ago. I wish I had kept a copy to show you. We use magnifying glasses to find really small words. So like I'll do a print off from a bundle that I have for foundations, and it'll show like really small CVC words in a picture, and they have to zoom in and find the CVC words with their magnifying glasses and then sort them on our sorting page. So magnifying glasses are a fun thing to incorporate into your teacher time. We have these amazing Lakeshore microphones. You can have students practice their oral reading fluency with these. I only have a couple, and I don't bring these out a ton because kids get a little carried away with them, as you might think. But microphones are a great way to practice oral reading fluency. And then my last thing I would say is probably just like games. So on Friday of this week, we are going to be doing CVC bingo. And obviously, games can't just be like for no reason, they have to serve a purpose. We're playing CVC bingo this week at the teacher table. You can do this as your warm-up, or you can do this as your activity, because again, they're working on a skill that they need help with. And then I also have this fun game I haven't used it this year, a sight word SWAT. It's off Amazon. I've got Pop for sight words. So there are a lot of different activities that you can do with your students at the teacher table, either for the main activity for your small group or for your warm-up or your exit activity. I got these really awesome little clothespins that have numbers on them. Obviously, I wouldn't use those for Daily 5, but I'm still learning how to use those, incorporate those in math. So sometimes we just pick up things as teachers and we don't know how we're going to use them, but the idea is to be creative with your small groups because, again, we want students to enjoy the time they're here, but we also want it to be meaningful and help them build the skills that they need help with. So those are some of my favorite warm-up, mostly activities to do with my students. I almost said my teachers. With my students at my teacher table, and I hope that you enjoyed that. Oh, one more I forgot to show you, which is super simple. If you're looking at all these, like the dice, the poppets, you don't have the funds for that. This is literally a game called Spoons. They just pick a spoon and read the sight word. Super easy. So don't reinvent the wheel. Don't buy things if you don't have the budget to do that, because you don't need to buy expensive things for your small groups. Just use whatever's feasible and whatever's going to work for your students. I'd love to know what activities you use at your small group, so feel free to leave a comment down below. I love learning from other teachers. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok. All the activities that I highlighted in my video, the dice, the poppets, the Play-doh, I'll try and link all of that down below so that you can grab a set for your classroom if you'd like it. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.